birds are done. The last one was last week. So we're going to try something a little different. And this will be sort of a taste of what I'm going to be doing. Ish. I'm going to be trying to do some reviews as I do my makeup, along with maybe a couple other things. What am I doing with my hands? I don't know. So today, we are going to be reviewing, or I am going to be telling you, actually, not really reviewing, but I'm going to be telling you about a book I greatly enjoy. I haven't read it in a while, but I still like it. And that is this book. It has 2, 3 names. This one book is a trilogy, actually, so there's 3 books in one. The name of the trilogy, there's 2 of them, is the Southern Reach trilogy and the Area X trilogy. The names of the individual books are Annihilation, Authority, and Acceptance. Author is Jeff Vandermeer. Yeah, I'm just gonna get started. I have my foundation on, I have my eyes primed, so I'm gonna go into it. I'm just gonna ramble as I put my makeup on. No, I don't really know what I'm planning. The trilogy starts with Annihilation. Now, some of you may recall that it was made into a movie a few years ago. I hate the movie with a burning passion. I went to go see it with a friend. I thought it was going to be great. My dear friend, who I know is going to be watching this, should remember that I hated the movie. I could not stand the movie. I can talk for hours about how much I hate that movie. Oh. Yeah, that just... Just know I hated the movie. My biggest problem with the movie is how much they changed. And I know you have to change things in order to make a movie run smoothly, make it look nicer, make it run nicer, make it more visually appealing. You don't want to bore people. And I understand that. But the amount of stuff they changed with it, they changed way too much. Basic thing is, if you go to see it not knowing what the source material is, great movie, hence why it was critically acclaimed. And I will admit there were some interesting scenes. It did explain a little bit of something that was left unexplained in the book. Long story short, I hated it. I will never watch it again. It was a waste of money, at least in my opinion. Additionally, if you go see it separated from the book, if you go to see it as its own thing, not as a movie based off of a book, then it's a great movie. But if you go to see it as a movie based off of a book, then it sucks. Like I said, I can ramble on about it all freaking day. Cannot stand the movie. So, on to the book. Annihilation, as a book, is written in first-person perspective in sort of a diary format. You actually do not know any of the names of the characters in that book, and everything with everything within the book takes place within the titular Area X, with a couple of notable exceptions that are flashbacks that occur sort of as needed. So as the story progresses, once there is a spot that needs a little bit more explanation, that needs a little bit more context for what the main character is feeling, why they're doing what they're doing, whatever's going on there, then they will sort of backtrack and give a very quick, okay, maybe not very quick, but give an explanation as to why they're doing what they're doing, you know, previous scenarios, who they are as a person, the whole spiel, the whole shebang. And it's done in a decent manner. You never feel disconnected from what's going on. Everything is contained. So in Annihilation, you have 4 characters. Oops. 4. In the movie, they had 5. In the book, they are known as the biologist, the main character, the anthropologist, the surveyor, and finally, the psychologist. They are all identified via their roles in the group. Each role is important to their expedition. I believe their expedition was number 12? I haven't read the book in a while, but I believe their expedition was number 12. And they are sent in to monitor Area X. See what's going on. See if they can find anything new. Wander around. Bring back any information they can find, along with maybe a couple samples. That's their job. Go in for, I think it was 18 months. They had to spend months, if not a year or so, training, prepping, generally getting ready and knowing each other, and nobody is supposed to identify themselves via their name. They are all supposed to identify themselves via their job within the group. So you never know their names. Even in the later books, when there are some things you don't even know what their real name was. They go by different things. Anyway, so everything there. Area X is kind of a weird place. It's kind of hard to describe it, as it is very unassuming, and yet you are constantly on edge. Everything about it looks normal, but doesn't. You always have this weird feeling of something being under the surface, something not quite right. I'm not trying to spoil it, I want you all to read it. Annihilation just kind of ends in a big mess. It's not pretty. but at the same time, its ending also makes you question a lot of what happens in the next few books. Next 2 books. The second book, Authority, is written in third-person perspective. The first book, Annihilation, everybody in it is female. The second book is written from a male perspective. The main character is male. He goes by Control. I can't remember what his real name is right now. You know what, give me a second. Okay, never mind. His first name's John. I can find that. He is acting director of the Southern Reach, which is a research thing literally right at the border of Area X. It is a facility designed entirely to research Area X, or at least the border, to try and discover what it is, where it came from, what happened. The things that happen there are kind of unusual, to say the least. He's not fully taken seriously when he first arrives. Probably doesn't help that he decides to go by Control instead of his actual name. Everybody seems to be both working with him and against him at the same time. Anyway, and it follows him as he's trying to figure out what was going on with the previous director of the Southern Reach, as they slowly spiraled, kind of half losing themselves. Anyway, there are a lot of different twists and turns, and you never know exactly where any of the books are going. So as Control runs around half blind, trying to figure out what's going on, people how would I put it? They're not really trying to stop him, but they're half trying to stop him at every corner. With the first 2 books, things start slowly things don't really take off, things don't really go that nuts that fast. You kind of get hints of things. Things aren't right, things are a little weird. Certain people may not be exactly who they say they are. My light's going out. I'm gonna finish this eyeliner, fix the light, and come back to you in a bit. Eyeliner is done, light is fixed, everything is good now. Ish. Okay, so back on track, which I am slowly running out of things to mention. So, Control, by the end of the second book, actually, he's got a couple issues. One of them being, he's figured out that certain people, certain things were being less than honest with him. Ugh. I feel like I have something in my eye. Okay, feels like whatever was is mostly gone now. Shift little. Okay. So in Control's hunt, he finds a lot of, shall we say, interesting information about a number of the people there. And also a little bit about what's been going on with the Southern Reach trilogy. No, not the Southern Reach trilogy, the facility, research facility. There's a few interesting characters there. The assistant director doesn't really like him. Anyway, so moving on to book 3. Book 3 is kind of interesting. It actually jumps between 4 different perspectives, 4 different people. One of them is very far back in the past, before Area X was created, before all of that happened. One of them is not as far back, but still before the events of the first book. And the other 2 occur just after the second book. Like, just. They kind of pick up where the second book left off. Anyway, so the 2 perspectives that take place just after the second book, one of them is Control, the other one is somebody that if I explain to you who they are, it's a bit of a spoiler. So, unfortunately, can't really tell you that one. The before Area X is a lighthouse keeper, and the before the first book, leading into the first book, is the previous director of the Southern Reach facility. Now, one thing that is interesting about that one, about the perspective of that one, is that it's not first person, but it's also not third person. The other 3 things in the third book are all in the all in third person. However, the previous director is not in first person, and it's not in third person, but it is in first person in a way. Basically, put it this way: instead of writing it as I put blush on my cheeks and a little on my nose, it is more, you take out your brush, you put the blush on your cheeks and a little on your nose, and then you head out for your day. So it's a very different way of writing. I've never seen anybody write it like that. So whereas the first book is written entirely in first person, you know, I go out, I collect samples, I run around trying to figure out what happened, where did things go wrong, what could I have done to prevent it. It is, you run off in the middle of the night, you look for something you haven't seen in years, and there it is, a little flower you haven't seen, only grows in this one spot. So it kind of follows along those kinds of lines. It's very strange. I have never seen anything written in that manner before, and it's just something very different, and something I would kind of like to see a bit more of. It all comes to a head at the end of the third book. The ending of it is hard to explain because it ends as you would expect, with more questions than answers. But no, it's a very good book. I didn't go out looking for it. I didn't read any reviews on it before I read it. My friend literally picked it up for me on a whim, maybe 5 minutes before I met her for a birthday dinner. It's one of those books that just kind of found me. Anyway, I'm done. I think I've spoken about as much as I can about the book. I'm gonna have to cut this down a lot. Oh well. I'll explain more about what I'm going to be doing with the reviews next week. With that, my battery's about to die, my time's about to run out, so I'm going to go. No bloopers or anything at the end of this one due to how long this is. Anyway, okay, bye!